Remember when you thought that Grand Theft Auto seemed a little far-fetched in its generosity to the crime cruising, and that the copycat Saints Row and its sequel seemed to take the notion of absurd and throw on a couple of exponents? Well, hold on to your last stretch of sanity as the Saints come marching in guns blazing for their third go-round in developer Volition's balls to the hilariously haywire wall. Ruder and lewder than ever, the once GTA wannabe finally sets itself apart from its superior, at least to some extent, as a superheroic satire that never shames in shying from firefighting frills, though its excessive nature has left much of the open-world dynamic of the developer's original rather pointless.
Whoever this crew is, they flow pretty damn good.
The Saints have earned their fame and keep since the first two games, and now, showered in sponsorships and movie deals, are determined to make a name for themselves one more time as gang wars reignite and the good citizens of Steelport get caught in the crossfire. The rival Syndicate controls most of the town, and their sights are set on securing the Saints' empire. After an unpleasant airborne encounter, the latter's always locked and loaded leader, Johnny Gat, bites the bullet, and the task of taking the Syndicate down falls to the player-controlled character and his entourage of cons and crooks. Whilst the battle for the streets rages, the politicians of Steelport become activized and organize a military unit to quell the turf wars indefinitely. An over-the-top campaign is accentuated by hilarious satire and farce. In what video game can you battle online avatars as a toilet? Take it from us, that is awesome. For newcomers, the game's characters might seem like cheap, hot-headed stereotypes, but the more you play, the more you invest yourself in their relationships and storylines. The gameplay in the Saints Row III is hit and miss, and though it admirably attempts more than ever to stray from the shadows of Grand Theft Auto, a sandbox environment does not mix well with the game's outlandish and ridiculous style. Biding your time in Steelport, your hours are spent shooting, driving from point A to point B, and using your experience to buy and upgrade abilities and real estate, but mainly you'll be shooting. The combat mechanic is solid enough, though the controls are a little awkward and more finicky than a polished GTA. Enemies feel generic as waves of hundreds feel cloned and careless. Don't get us wrong, shooting people is still fun, but like the rest of the game, because of the outlandish nature of the third's content, the serious dissection of gangster violence that the whole game was originally based on is reduced to the ridiculous. There's simply no emotion in blowing up baddies by the dozens here, compared to taking out established enemies in the realism of a world like GTA's. Which brings to the front another issue. Driving around the open world of Steelport is for the most part not worth your time, and painfully boring. Again, there's not much reason to explore aside from buying property, which will raise your overall revenue. This is a world that you know is unbelievable, and as such, buying into the premise of roaming around the roads of a city grounded in silliness is not all that appealing. All told, routine will insist that you move from point A to point B at breakneck speeds so that you can get on with the next mission and advance the story. Assignments typically involve killing people. Big surprise, but there is a fair share of mission variety that'll prevent the action from ever dropping into the doldrums of tedium. You'll board helicopters with rockets, take out HKs, that's hooker killers, hang off buildings with your sniper rifle, take command of vehicles to cause havoc around the city, and, did we mention, you can shoot the literal crap out of enemies as a toilet. Other activities and side quests strewn around Steelport in good measure. Throughout the game, you'll come across various points where you need to make a choice that'll earn you either money or respect, but these timely options really don't affect the experience all that much. Apart from a co-op mode, what would a shooting game be nowadays without its own horde mode, Horde mode, clever. It's all in really bad taste, or no, actually really good taste, because nothing is taken seriously. And that's the point here, nothing is taken seriously, which is the third's most promising trait, and again, at the same time, most hindering, as the sobriety and seriousness of the old Rockstar clone struggles to complement Volition's drunken delight. Saints Row III is pleasantly presented and heavily reliant on style over substance. The world of Steelport is sharp and colorful, but it's also dead and devoid of the intimate interactions with people that you get in a game like, can you guess what I'm about to reference? Yes, GTA! I know I'm sounding like a broken record at this point, but the comparison is there and it has to be made. You won't feel the same connection with this city that you would feel in a city like Liberty. And that's a shame because the open world that the developers have built here goes to waste. The characters are the spotlight of Saints Row 3 with dialogue delivery and hysterical one-liners that'll leave you laughing out loud. Take it from this reviewer, this is a funny-ass game. Character models look great, and of course the customization options available are just awesome. You can make your guy or girl look like anything. The third is all about satirical fun, celebrating the lewd and the crude, but at the same time, it also falls short of its subject matter. Make no mistake, we wouldn't be making the comparison to Grand Theft Auto if the game wasn't still emulating, intended as satire or not, Rockstar's fabled franchise. But it does, and because of that, despite the ample amount of fun you'll get from this title, you'll often find yourself itching to play the former. Indeed, right after playing Saints Row 3, I proceeded to replay the entirety of GTA 4's campaign. You can't take the third seriously, clearly, but we just wish that Volition would take a step farther in truly defining the series as its own instead of constantly relying on the mechanics of open-world elders. The graphics are great, the characters and dialogue are hilariously fun, the story is meh, the Horde mode is awesome, but the world of Steelport, the charm, the atmosphere, the grit, the life of an open-world city is nowhere to be found. Though simple and satisfying, Saints Row the Third still lingers in the shadows of those it satirizes.